Hi everyone, it's Mary Bush with Stampin' in the Sand, and I'm trying to get on here because I'm having trouble with my tripod all of a sudden. It is fighting me. So I'm sorry, I keep adjusting you. I don't know what happened to my tripod. It kind of must have had a meltdown because it didn't want to hold my phone and it was flopping all over the place. Hi everybody. So I can kind of see that some folks are joining us, and I've had a very busy day today. If you caught some of my posts from the weekend or from my blog this morning, you'll know that, hi Christina, over the weekend I joined 31 Gifts as a consultant, and my starter kit came today. So this is my third live presentation today. I was live on my personal page doing a little intro and talking to some folks that I hadn't seen in forever. And yes, gremlins. Kathy, I have gremlins. They've possessed my craft room. It's just wrong. I should go feed them to the baby alligators. I had baby alligators in my yard this morning. I should go feed the gremlins to the baby alligators. Hi, Stacy. So I did a live on my personal page. I've never gone live on my personal page before. I showed my face. It was horrifying. I was embarrassed. And then I popped over to my new page. It's actually a new group. So if you're interested in craft room and home organization, I have a new group. It's called Creatively Organized with Mary Bush. It's here on Facebook. It's a private group, but I invite you all to join me. So you just have to click on over to my group and put in a request to join, and I'll automatically enroll you. There's just certain Facebook and 31 laws that I have to kind of follow, so it has to be a private group. And I also invite you to invite your friends. So if you have anyone that's interested in learning more about organizational tools and just organization in general, have them join my page. It's not going to just be Mary Sells, Mary Sells, Mary Sells. I want it to be like an interactive, conversational type of page. So I'm not always just going to be hammering everyone with buy, buy, buy. I want it to be more than just that. So I invite you to join that page. So I'm just trying to get organized here. And then my tripod gave up the ghost and the gremlins attacked it. So anyway, oh, Darcy, so 31 bags and Stampin' Up! Stuff for your weakness. Well, I think I just joined your club because I just opened my new 31 bags. I'd never owned a 31 bag before I joined. Isn't that hysterical? I'd never owned a single bag, and now I can just see how many I'm going to have to order. So anyway, let's get back to stamping. So I have a card idea in my head, and we're going to play along and see if it comes to fruition. So today I am going to show some of my favorite cardstock, my favorite designer series paper from the current catalog. I'm not using new stuff yet. From the current catalog, and it's called Coffee Break. So this is the designer series paper that has all these really fun coffee pots and coffee cups on it. And believe it or not, the only fuel I've had today is my coffee. I think I forgot to eat today. Don't tell my husband, he will be so mad. So it has these really cute coffee pots and cups motifs. And my favorite, the little coffee beans. They're so cute. And a nice chevron pattern. And then we have the coffee plant motif, a nice stripe, the coffee rings. And what else is in this pack? Is that the only pattern? Oh, no. Then there's this other beautiful little chevron type paper. And the coffee plants in a different color. And then we just have your early espresso and white coffee pots and cups. And on the back of this one that I'm using has these cute little hearts with garden green and white. So this is, I wanted to use this as kind of a masculine card idea today, as opposed to just going with the coffee thing. And oh, Mary, the name of my new group, it's Creatively Organized with Mary Bush. Okay, so that's the name of the new group. And I can post a link or an invitation for that group here. So if anyone's interested in joining the group and doesn't want to have to remember it and write it down, just post in the comments for this live class video that you're interested in joining the group, and I will send you an invitation after this class is over. When I scroll through the comments, I'll just automatically send you an invitation. So just make a comment, I'd like to be invited to the group, and I'll send you that invite. So if you've been following along with me for the last few weeks, I've been doing my love it, chop it craze. And it really is an addiction, but it's the best kind of addiction because it gets you loving and chopping your designer series paper instead of hoarding it. And coming Thursday, I have my clearance rack order coming. I went a little bit crazy in the clearance rack and ordered so much more designer series paper. It's not even funny. So look for some free gifts coming everybody's way and some giveaways coming with Thursday's class, because I'm going to love it, chop it, and share it. I'm not going to hoard it. That's my new motto. So we're going to start with our 5 1/4 cut. And if you've been following, you know your next cut's going to be 5 1/4, and you'll save your strip. But we don't need that for this class, so I'm just going to put it aside, and I'll do it after. Then we're going to rotate our paper, and we're going to do our 4-inch cut. So now we have a 4 by 5 1/4 inch card front. We're going to move this over and do another 4-inch cut. And now we have 3 4 by 5 1/4 inch card fronts. We'd repeat that with our next piece, but we're not going to do that in this class because we don't need it. You can do that yourselves at home. And for my card bases, you basically have learned that you just pull in the coordinating colors from the designer series paper. How do you know what those are? Well, on the back of our Stampin' Up! Designer Series paper packs, it always tells you what the coordinating colors are. And hopefully the glare from this isn't too bad because, like I said, I don't know what happened to my tripod, so I don't know what your lighting is like. So this says Coffee Break Designer Series paper. It's acid-free and lignin-free. For those of us that are scrapbookers, that's very important for photo preservation. And it contains early espresso, garden green, pear pizzazz, soft sky, soft suede, and your core color is whisper white. So because I'm going a masculine route for today's cards, I've pulled in my garden green and my early espresso for my card bases, and then I have some whisper white cardstock that's pre-cut for stamping. I also have some scrap pieces of garden green and early espresso that I can cut up for additional layers should I need them. Today, I want to play with the Heartland stamp set. Believe it or not, this has been in the catalog for quite a while, and I just bought it. So I haven't played with it yet. So we're going to play with this today, and we're going to start with the barn image. And I haven't even taken the paper off. I just pulled it out of my box of new items. And I shared that box of new items during my pre-order reveal video. And it wasn't just full of pre-order. It actually included some items that were new to me, but it had been in the catalog for a while. So let me know if anything wonky happens with the lighting with this video, because it's hard for me to tell looking down into my device what you're seeing, and I didn't have a chance to set up my computer so that I could watch along. So let me know if anything wonky starts to happen with the lighting. So for my inks, I want to do some watercoloring. So I'm going to bring in my archival black ink pad. Now, if you've been following along on the Stampin' Up! News, you'll know that our archival ink pads are being discontinued. However, they are bringing back the Stays On Black. So if you're going to watercolor with our classic inks, you will use the archival ink pad for stamping your main image prior to watercoloring. And it looks like this may need some re-inker. Let's try this out. Let's test this out on some scrap, because I may have to grab a re-inker. I don't know about you, but since moving to South Carolina permanently, I have found that my ink pads dry a lot quicker. And must be something about the air here, because I never had this problem when I was in Massachusetts. So that's okay. It's not great. Hold on one second. I'm running across the room to get re-inker. I hate walking away from the camera when I'm recording, but you got to do what you got to do. So I have my re-inkers. That's classic black. Well, that figures. My archival isn't in this box. Where is it? I go, well, up. Okay, it's in the drawer. I got it. So here's my archival basic black re-inker. Sorry about that. And I'm just going to quickly add a little bit more ink to my ink pad, because I really don't want a faded image, right? Sorry about that. I expected this to be moister than it was. You can't stamp with a dry ink pad. And it also doesn't help that this is a brand new stamp set. All right. And somehow I have managed to smudge all of my cardstock. How the heck did that happen? I must have it somewhere on my hand. Yes, I do. Look at that. It's all over my hand. Well, that's okay. I flipped it over, right? All right, so I gotta stamp my barn. I'll tell you, always when you're live. Can you believe that this stuff does not happen to me when I am not live? Ugh. But when I'm live, inevitably, I stick my finger in the ink. Okay, so there's my barn. And I'm gonna put that aside. And at the same time, I'm going to use my little tractor. And I can salvage some of this, that's okay. And I need another block. So here's my little tractor with my little puppy. Get my ink again. Oh, good. Sue says everything looks good. All right, thank you, because I had a heck of a time getting set up today. All right. And then, of course, somebody rang my doorbell, doing like door-to-door. I don't know, they were handing something out door-to-door. All right, so there's my tractor and my puppy dog. So I'm gonna bring in my barn first, because that's probably the driest, and I'm gonna do some watercoloring. So I've got my cherry cobbler, and I'm just squishing. Open that up like a palette, and I have my aqua painter, and it's got some water in it. And I'm using thick Whisper White cardstock as opposed to regular, just so it doesn't bend as much. And I'm just gonna do a light wash on my barn. And hopefully I can do this without getting a lot of my head in here, because I'm sure you don't want to see the top of my head. And I'm just gonna color my barn. I have a friend up in Massachusetts. She bought her dream property last spring. And she has a barn on her property. And she's painting it red. So I might have to just send this to her. And I'm just trying to go around where the roof is. This is a little shed on the barn. Yeah, so her property is really cool. She does all sorts of dog events with me, or, you know, like I do. And it's perfect for that. I'm so happy for her. All right. So that's the barn. I'm gonna add a little bit more color here. And then I'm gonna do some lighter up at the doors. So I could do the doors a totally different color up top. But for this, I'm just gonna leave it all red. It'll be faster. And then you can have little degrees of shading. All right. And I guess I may as well make the front doors red too, right? I was gonna make them like a brown, but I'll just make them a lighter shade of red. I'm sure it won't matter, right? Okay, so I'm gonna put the red away before something happens. And I'm gonna get my garden green, do the same thing with the squish. Hi, Barbara, hi, Norma. We're finally having a beautiful day here in South Carolina after the storms last night. Gosh, they were awful. All right, so I'm gonna do my trees. And my shrubbery. Leave some white areas. There's a little shrubbery, little shrubberies. And then I'm gonna make some paler green and just wash the lawn. I think I need a little bit more green there. All right, and then I'm also gonna do some coloring on this one while I have my green out, now that it's a little drier. And I'm gonna do my tractor. So this is gonna be my classic John Deere. If my coloring isn't exact, don't make fun of me. Just do a little grass. Clean that off. And I do need one more color that I don't have out. Now that I'm going the route of John Deere. Because we all know that John Deere tractors have yellow seats and yellow wheel wells. So this is crushed curry. I don't think I want exactly the brightness of daffodil. So I'm going to color in my wheel wells, or my hubs. I guess they're really hubs, right? And my seat. Ha. Gotta make it authentic, right? Clean my brush off. And then I thought I saw a spot I missed on my tractor. Ugh. Well, not really. I think it's air, but I think that was an air spot, but that's good enough. So there's my tractor. I think I might need another layer of color though. It's drying a little faded. Okay. Good enough, right? All right. So now I'm going to come in with my early espresso. This might be a little darker than I wanted. Well, you know what? We're going to use this on the tires. Legitimately, they're black, but I don't have a water-based black readily available, so we're just going to use espresso. And my coloring is not perfect, but you know what? The sketch isn't exactly perfect either, right? You know, it's meant to be a sketch. All right, and I don't know, I think that should be green. Change that to green. So now I need to do my thatched roof. And I was thinking I could do it in espresso, but that might be too dark. So I think I'll try crumb cake. Good thing my inks are right around the corner. I didn't have to go far. So I'll tell you guys, I haven't stamped a thing. That's too much water. Since last Thursday. Did you guys get any stamping done this weekend? Because I got nothing. And I didn't even have a plan for this class until 5 minutes before I came on. So how's that? I am working on the fly. I know what I want it to look like. I just am not 100% sure how I'm going to get there. All right. All right, so there's that. I just keep cleaning my brush off on my scrap paper as I go. I'm not really happy with the way my barn came out, but that's all right. So then I noticed I got to do these little guys on the top. They would probably be white, maybe, on the top of a barn. I don't know. But on my barn, they're going to be red. So actually, that's not too bad. So now I want to do my doggy. I have black labs, but I don't think coloring my little doggy black is going to do a whole heck of a lot for this card. So, what color should I do my doggy? I'm looking. Nothing's jumping out at me. So, I think I'm gonna try something totally off the wall. And I'm gonna color my dog yellow. And I don't know. Does he kind of look like a golden retriever? I don't know. He's kind of cute, right? Oh, so let's see. Kathy got to play with her paper pumpkin. That's cool. All right, so those are done. I'm not going to do any more watercoloring on the main images. The only thing I want to do, and I want to get rid of this paper because it's way too wet. And it's no longer viable. I'm going to get a new piece of scratch paper. And I'm just going to take some soft sky, which is in my background paper. And I want to add a little bit of sky to my images. That was way too heavy. All right. So I'm just gonna put a little bit in. Tone down that white just a little bit. All right, so you can barely see it. You may not be able to see it at all. I can just barely see it, but I think it'll tone it down just enough. And I can always go back in and add a little bit more if I want to, but that's probably gonna be good enough. All right. So we can close up our ink pads. All right, so my plan is to pull in all my bases, and I'm going to mount my images on. So see how that pops? That really pops off of that background. So this piece here, if I can remember, is 3 by 4 1/4? 3 by 4 1/4. So I need my trimmer. So I've got 3 by 4 1/4. And then, nope, definitely green. So 3 by 4 1/4. So I'm gonna go 3, I can't see if I go that far up there. I'm gonna go 3 1/8 because I want just a little bit more border. But actually I have to go 4 3/8 first because I think this piece was 4 1/4. And now I can do the 3 1/8 over here. Okay, excuse my reach. So now I have just a little bit of matte. Okay. Then on the next one, I'm going to die cut it because it's really small for the paper. So I've got my trusty stitch shapes here. And I'll do my largest stitched oval because that frames it pretty nicely, I think. Can you see that? Yeah, that's in the frame. So just gonna cut that out. All right, so what do you think? Is it coming together so far with just coming out of my head and onto the paper? I really thought that this week was going to be the week that I said, oh, look at this card that I made, and we're going to make this exact card and not have to go on the fly. But you know what? It became a Stampin' on the Fly day. All right, let's see if this one is too big. Nope. Okay, so this layering oval looks like it's the right size for my image. And I'm gonna do just a straight edge on my oval as opposed to the scallop. Whoops, because I have so much going on with those polka dots that I don't want to make your eye go totally crazy by having to look for those scallops. All right, so there are my pieces. And then I'm having an idea. If I can move across the room. I'm sorry, I've walked away a lot today. You know me, I never do this because it drives me nuts. But hey, I'm working on the fly, kids. Hold on. And when you're working on the fly, sometimes ideas hit you and you have to just walk away for a minute. All right, so let's just get our paper down. I'm gonna keep this really, really simple. And I'm not gonna put another mat. And I'm gonna hope I have glue in this dispenser. You know that sometimes I would double mat it. This glue is almost out. But this time I'm not going to. I'm just gonna do a single mat. And I'm gonna glue that down on the front. Okay. So hopefully this is working and you're enjoying this. Because I'm a little out of practice, having not done anything since Thursday. I was able to get out to my farm a bit this weekend and get some mowing done. And that's another story because I thought I lost the tractor key in the field and looked for it for 2 hours. And if you've ever tried to look for a tractor key, which is this big, in an 8-acre field full of high grass, it makes for an interesting afternoon. Let me tell you. Not fun. Wasn't exactly an enjoyable experience, especially when I found the key in my car, in the cup holder, where I apparently had tossed it and didn't see it. So that took 2 hours out of my life I'll never get back. I'm just looking for dimensionals. Oh my gosh, Mary. So yeah, that was fun. But I got a fair amount of the field mowed before it rained yesterday, and boy did it rain. And I keep looking out my window. I haven't seen the baby gator come back. That was out there earlier. Maybe I scared him away too many times and now he's not interested. Which I guess would be okay. At least I saw him before the dogs did. Don't need them going swimming after him, right? Okay. So now I'm just going to mount this on the front. Make sure it's relatively straight. And that's pretty much my card front. The only thing I might do is go back and maybe change the doors to some brown. Because I'm not really sure that I'm crazy about the doors. Let's just do it. You want to just do it and try it? I mean, what's the worst that's going to happen? I'm going to hate it and I'm going to change it. Rip it apart? I don't know. What's the worst that can happen, right? See if this works. I know you can do it with, you can go back and change colors with blends. Let's see if it works with watercolor. Not bad. I'm not loving it and I'm not hating it. I'm not loving it and I'm not hating it, right? Actually, there's another door there. Hey, you know what? You can watch me change everything, and then you can decide how you would like it if you were to do it after seeing me do all my mistakes and make all my changes. So I don't know. What do you think? Is it too hideous? What do you think? Yeah, I like the brown doors better too. I just don't know if I like the brown doors painted over the red doors. But, you know, it is what it is. And there's also a greeting that comes with the stamp set. I didn't put it on the front because I don't know what I'm going to do with this card, whether it's going to just be a note card or a card for an occasion. But there is one that says, just a note to let you know I'm thinking of you. So that could be on the inside of the card, but it could also be on the front. But I kind of like leaving this for right now as just a plain card that I can go back later and decide what I'm going to use it for. So now we need to do our next card. And that one is my tractor card. So we have our little tractor. I may as well put him on his oval, right? I also thought today was going to be a quick class, you know, one of those 15-minute, let's just get this card done and bang out a card type of classes, but that didn't work either, did it? All right, so this would be my green base with the pattern, but I'm wondering if this one should have a brown layer and the green. And I actually like that better. So I'm going to throw all this out of the way. And I need my trimmer, which I put where? Next to me. All right. So we're going to cut down a card base. Don't tell anybody. So we're going to go 4 1/8. And then we got, let's see, 1/8 off of that, 5 3/8. Let me see if I did that right, because I want just a teeny tiny scotch of a border. So that's going to work. All right. So this one is going to go down on the brown. Like that. And then this one's going to go down on the green. Ah, I'm running out of glue. Oh, hate that. Had it stored tip down too. Must just be at the end of its useful life. All right, so I'm going to put that on the front. So see how it adds just a tiny little bit of contrast on the front of the card? Okay. Yeah, Mary Ellen, I like the John Deere tractor too. That's what we have. So I had to buy this stamp set. So I'll probably send this one to my husband because he's always out of town. I didn't even tell him about the key incident until after I found it. Whoops, I just tilted you. Sorry. I just hit you trying to get the the cord out of my way. Sorry about that. All right, so I'm just gonna cut, I don't know, maybe I want this straight. Maybe I just wanna, maybe I'll just angle cut it. I think if I put the banner edges into it, it may be too feminine. All right, so if we have my tractor there, I probably want to put my adhesive right between this line here, this row of dots. Yeah, so my husband's always after me about losing keys. Like we lost a set of my car keys. Can't find them anywhere. And it's the set of car keys that has my house key for this house and the house key for the house that we have on the market on it. So I went to go to the other house to check on it, and I couldn't get in the door because I couldn't find the key. It just has not been my week with keys lately. So my thing is, if I don't leave the house, maybe I won't lose any more keys. It's been crazy. Oh, don't even talk about the cell phone, Mary Ellen. Oh my gosh. Cell phone. I put that thing down every day, walk away and look for it for 20 minutes to a half hour. All right, so what do you think of that? So on this one, I just added a little bit of strip of the burlap ribbon just to give it some texture. It's probably enough. I might have been able to get away with doing a little bit more than that, but it's just, I think that's just enough. So what do you think? This came hatched out of my head. What do you think? Worth the time? Worth the effort? Do you like them? Did they come out okay? Because I literally just picked them out of my head and started going with it, and I had no idea what it was going to look like when I was finished. I just picked a stamp set, picked a designer series paper, and came up with a plan. So I hope you like them. The only thing that I think I would do differently is I might mount this oval with a chocolate chip with an early espresso layer as well to tie some more of that in. And on this card, I might have cut down the barn to a little bit smaller. And I'm also coming up with an idea that I would love to get maybe the stamp set from Paper Pumpkin that had the birds, and maybe have some birds flying over the barn. Maybe make it look like, because they could be swallows flying over the barn. So I think I might have to go find a stamp set that has some little birds and put them around the barn. And I'll post them here on my Facebook page, and you guys can see what it looks like since we didn't do it in class. So I hope you like my cards. I hope they inspire you. And if you're inspired to give them a try and you have some supplies you need to order, or perhaps you don't have the Heartland stamp set, don't forget, you can join my Hostess Club by using this Hostess code here. It just requires a $30 minimum order each month for 6 months. And you also, if you're not interested in my Hostess Club, but you are shopping my online store, if you enter my exclusive Live at 5 Hostess code shown here, you'll receive my Flying Home 4-card tutorial and my Petal Garden card kit, which if you've been watching some of my past videos, the Petal Garden card kit was what we used to create all of these cards on some prior classes. And a little bit goes a really long way when you use my Love It, Chop It card cutting template, I guess I should say. So there's a whole bunch of different varieties of cards that you can create just by using the Petal Garden card kits that I'm giving away for free with qualifying orders this week. So thanks for joining me, everybody. I hope you like my cards. I hope that I've inspired you. And I'm glad to see that what I came up with in my head actually did transpose onto a card front somewhat. So thanks again. And again, if you're interested in joining my creatively organized Facebook group, sorry, then just leave me a comment here saying that you're interested in an invitation for my group, and I'll get that right out to you. So thanks, everybody. Have a great rest of your Tuesday. Happy stamping. And I'm going to go look for some baby gators. And I'll see you back here on Thursday at 5 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Happy stamping. Bye.